On the flip side of Carolina's issues, and we mentioned this a little bit, is the success that Houston has been having so far this year. And a lot of people, I think, naturally have compared Bryce Young with CJ Stroud, but I wanted to go beyond what their production looks like and examine what the offenses are doing, right? So if Carolina is setting Bryce Young up to fail, it feels like Houston is setting up CJ Stroud to succeed. So what have you seen from the Texans offense structurally that you feel like has stood out and put this group in a really good spot with him as a rookie?
Well, there's a lot of things. The number one thing from my perspective, and I've broken down his last like 3 or 4 games, they are taking shots down the field, man. Like they are not letting guys sit on them. And that is the biggest thing. It's not only like just when I say shots downfield, let me just go back a little bit. It's like when I say shots, it's not just like go ball throws one-on-one. You hope you hit them. Anyone can do that. Like, okay. It's the scheme that they have within their under center play action movement bootleg game that is next level. I mean, I some of these, and it's not only that, but it's when Slowick and Shane Day and Jared Johnson, when they're calling it, because it looked like against Cincy, like they saw Cincy, were like, hey, Cincy is in single high zone almost every single second down. And if you watch the game on all their chunk plays, every 2nd and 4 to 8, they are calling under center shot plays and like hitting them to Noah Brown. Like it is unreal, because they're like, I don't care if on third, if it's incomplete on 2nd and 7, we'll call a 3rd and 8 beater and we'll be fine. And so just the vast amount of stuff that they have in, like, and I know Shane Day, I was with Shane Day, but that whole offensive staff, like they deserve the credit, because it is Kyle Shanahan type stuff, but they're doing some next level stuff. And it's honestly because CJ Stroud can handle it. He can handle it from a mental aspect. And it's like a simple thing such as like a movement. So on play call sheets, we'll have these movement plays, and most of the movement plays in most of the play call sheets I've had and offensive have had, they're shot plays downfield. Okay. And there might be 6 or 7 a game. And we always, as quarterbacks, like, just call them. Even if it's not there, like we will check it down. We won't, because it's just like, it's good stuff. Like you don't want to, like, I remember in New Orleans, it was like 6 or 7, and Drew would be like, Sean, like, call them all. I promise you we will hit some. If not, then so what? I'll throw it away. And we got to a point where Drew was rolling and we were calling 6 or 7 a game of just shot movement, under center, really cool slot, like play action stuff. When I look at CJ, it's not only like that menu is like 14 plays. And because they are just continuing to call. And it's not only that, it's like so many different setup points by a quarterback. He's got a shotgun, which would be, or like a pistol play action game where he's moving in the pocket. It's not just like fake. It's like a true heavy play action to bring 2 tight ends back, shots down the field. It's under center movement where he's faking to the left and setting up in the A gap. Or another one, faking to the left, setting up all the way on the other side of the hash, throwing across the box. So the sheer amount of stuff that a defense has to prepare for when they deal with this offense. And by the way, they were without their starting running back and they still ran for 170. Like, what? Like, so that is what I'm seeing. It's like they're not getting away from running the football, because at the genesis of this Shanahan offense, it is the run game. And so they are running the ball really well, but because they're running the ball really well and continue to stick with it, all their play action shot stuff is not only working, it's easily the best in the league right now.
Their running game was awful for the first month or so of the season, but they've continued to do it. And I think part of the reason they've continued to do it, same reason that the Niners have continued to do it in years where maybe it hasn't been as efficient, because it allows everything else to come together. If you're going to run the ball consistently on early downs, teams are going to play you that way. And the amount of heavy boxes they're getting against some of these looks, the percentage of their runs that go into heavy boxes on first and second down are some of the highest in the league. Well, guess what? the percentage of cover 3 that they see on early downs is one of the highest in the league. So they're simplifying coverages with some of this personnel stuff, and it's allowed them to push the ball down the field against some of these looks. And we talk about this with Bryce Young, or excuse me, we talk about this with Josh Allen. Those plays where they're moving the pocket, even though you're asking him to make a difficult throw, mentally, you're still taking something off of his plate. He's setting up outside of the pocket, and he's either ripping it or checking it down. And
there's two reads. There's 2 reads exactly on that. It's like 1 to check down. That's it.
And that is mentally an easy thing to put on your quarterback. So you combine that stuff on early downs that is fun as shit to watch because he's aggressive and he can rip it. So every single time they do that and he's setting up outside the pocket, it's one of those moments where I feel like I'm just like standing up on the couch because I'm ready. I'm just ready for whatever's going to come next. But then you combine that with the truly high level stuff he is doing in high leverage moments. That throw that he hit to the sticks to Tank Dell that didn't end up going for a first down, but was an inch short. That's the type of stuff where you're combining all of it. Where we talk about how the Panthers, it's cascading in the wrong way, where you're putting so much stuff on him and then you're seeing the worst version of him. Here, you're giving him some easy ones on early downs, and then you're asking him to be the guy he's been in some of these high leverage moments. It's just the right combination of stuff, making the game easier while also having a guy who is clearly a dude, and all of that stuff working in concert is awesome.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, it's working in concert because on those early downs, they are giving him some easy plays to just sort of relax, but also his physical traits are just take over, and he's building that confidence.
Yeah.
That's the thing that people don't understand is such a big deal outside of, okay, just the X's and O's. Like, you want these, like, I always thought, like, on the first or second play of the game, just give me a little stick route. Just let me get that first completion out of the way, or on the first drive, like, just give me an easy one. That's what the Texans are doing. And boy, is it like took off from there, because they are giving him some easy ones, but he's making the easy ones. And he's like, okay, I can play in this league. I can make that throw. Like the throw. Did you see the throw to the tight end on like 2nd and long, and the tight end's running a dagger route, and he hits them in stride. It's man-to-man. They in and out it, and they hit the tight end, Dalton Schultz. Is it Dalton Schultz?
Dalton Schultz. Yep.
Dalton Schultz. And I've never seen a tight end run a dagger route and actually be in the progression. And the fact that he's in the progression, then he actually throws it to a tight end on like what would be a receiver route, like the trust he has. And it was like just a shot. It was just like a BB right in his helmet to a tight end in tight coverage 20 yards down the field. I'm just like, I'm looking at that. I'm like, okay, people don't understand like all the layers of that play. It's supposed to go a little return route, but the return route was covered, and they built leverage on an in route by crossing them, and then the end comes open, but it takes a little bit longer. And that's what I saw too in a couple of these breakdowns. And I don't want to say he's not Tom Brady. His feet remind me so much of how Brady was in the pocket, because it's just pitter pat, pitter pat, pitter pat, pitter pat. Now Brady would just sit. Okay, he's a little bit different where he just keeps his feet moving, but it's not these massive moves or swings in the pockets like you used to see Drew Brees do in like massive movements. It's almost like build a wall and just let me stay back there deep enough. And then just with his like release too, like all of that is really, really cool to watch. I mean, you're literally watching history right now happen as this will go down. I don't care what the numbers are, just from terms of quarterbacking as a rookie, this will go down as one of the best seasons ever for a rookie.
One of the coolest things he does is how quickly he can get these balls off. And I've said this, a lot of other guys, when they're in traffic, they'll drop an arm angle to throw the ball around a guy. The fact that he will change the trajectory at which he throws to throw over people in tight spaces, part of the reason that he can so quickly get those balls off is his feet are always ready to throw. His feet are always ready for him to throw. It is incredibly cool to watch. And I'm 100% with you. Like when I watch him play, I just feel like I'm watching one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Like there are going to be moments where he gets fooled. And he almost threw a pick when they were in a cover zero look. They dropped the linebacker out. He got fooled. That sort of stuff is going to happen. He hasn't banked the mental reps in order to kind of overcome some of that stuff. That comes with time. But purely process-oriented stuff, he is already one of the best processing quarterbacks in the NFL, mentally and the physical process of how he plays. And it's just unbelievably cool to watch. And you combine that with an offense that is putting him in the right spots and is giving him some of those easy decisions, easy throws, combined with everything that he's doing on his own. And I think that's what you see. And I think it's important to contrast what we're seeing there and what we're seeing in Carolina and just how different it is. CJ Stroud on his own is probably a star, right? Like if you put him in an average situation, he's probably a star. But it's being accentuated because of everything that you're seeing in Houston. That play you talk about with Dalton Schultz, it's such a perfect play to point out because there was a play in the Bears game where Hayden Hurst is the number one receiver outside in a 3-by-1 formation, and he has no shot at winning against a corner. Absolutely no shot. Dalton Schultz did it twice in that Houston game where he's winning on in-breaking routes against a cornerback. So those tiny little differences, I think, have really shined a light and in a way both good and bad. You're seeing all of the warts in Carolina. And you're seeing all of the strengths in Houston because of what's around these guys.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, the quarterback is the system and the system is the quarterback, and they have to work as one. Like, that sounds weird, but like I've always enjoyed and thought that if you were called a system quarterback, it is a good thing because your system is what you are and what you put out on the field every single day. Your system is the weapons that are surrounded with you, the coaching staff that comes around you, the way that the first 15 is. That is the system. It's not just like, oh, these are just so scripted, so easy. No, like you still got to go out there and do it. And if you're in a good system with good coaches and good people, you're going to play a long time in this league. And that's what you're seeing right now in Houston. And what you're not seeing is, I don't know. In Carolina, it's difficult for me to say it's a bad system yet. What I see, it's the bad personnel. And so if one of those things are off, I don't care who it is, it can sway so much back and forth. And so that's the biggest difference for me with CJ and with Bryce. Like, they're going to be forever linked. That's just how it is based on how they went 1 and 2. And boy, could it not be any more different for CJ than it is for Bryce right now.